Hey everybody, I'm Isaiah and welcome back to my topic channel. And can I just say, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is my new favorite movie. That is right, guys. It is now finally time to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. My review of Sonic 3. Oh my God, this movie, you think I like the other two? This movie blew those other two movies out of the fucking water. This movie was fucking incredible. Everything about this. And the thing is, I knew this movie was going to be at least good, maybe great, because I was just a big fan of I'm such a big fan of the other two. Sonic 2 is already one of my favorite movies of all time. But Sonic 3 is my favorite movie of all time. Like, I don't really want to do, like, the jump cuts or anything. I kind of just want to go off based on, like, my personal, opinions of the film. You know, the good, the bad, and everything, you know. There will be spoilers, though. I wanted to post this a little bit earlier and do a non-spoiler review, but I couldn't figure out a way to fully do it. Just simply due to the fact that a lot of things I said could be interpreted as spoilers. So this is, I just decided to, say, fuck it and just wait a little bit longer. And, now I can finally fully talk about it. Since the movie's been out for, a little over 2 weeks, 2-week grace period. There you go. If you haven't seen the movie yet and are worried about spoilers, click off the video. But there was a disclaimer in the beginning as well. So you've been warned. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the movie starts exactly right where Sonic the Hedgehog 2 left off. Where we finally get to see Shadow the Hedgehog. And can I tell you, Keanu Reeves did a fucking amazing job as Shadow. Every time you hear him, you hear a little bit of John Wick, but then you hear a little bit of, Neo from The Matrix. He is Keanu. No matter what, he is Keanu. And Keanu, he was like, well, I didn't want to go too deep or too high because you have Sonic and Knuckles. So he had to find, that inner ground between the two of them, and built this really great character. So we find out that Shadow has been in a military base underneath surveillance for over 50 years. Yeah, from 1974 until 2024, Shadow, Shadow has literally been, basically frozen in time, And we get to see a lot more of his backstory, and you guys already know the games. You guys should know everything about Maria and everything and all that stuff. Shadow basically, he came to Earth from an asteroid, and, a secret professor came in and took him away and, kind of like experimented him and studied him. And then Maria kind of showed him that it was a good life. And then she unfortunately died in a battle of them trying to escape and everything. But we find out that Shadow, obviously, he then escapes from, being in his incarcerate. I don't know what else to call it, frozen in time, incarcerated, whatever. But then we jump to, Green Hill, where we get to see Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and they're doing a race. But you're really going after the Blue Devil. Like, come on. And, they actually just did that as like a little distraction. It was funny because we find out that the Tails and Knuckles are holograms, and Sonic starts saying like some really cheeky like Sonic stuff. Ben Schwartz again, 10 out of 10. Like, you brought Sonic to life extremely well. And then he's like, interesting. But wait, what's going on? That's literally how it sounded. And then it was basically his birthday, where it's birth, but Bearth, as it was like his birthday of landing on Earth. And he found out that he actually landed into one of his long caves, like one of his caves that he used to live in. And it was really cool just seeing, how, we got to hear a little bit more about Sonic's backstory and him and the Donut Lord. The Donut Lord is obviously back. We got to see him and Tom have like a little, heart-to-heart. Again, like they usually do, like they're best friends, but realistically, Sonic does see, Tom, as we've seen in the second one, he sees him as a parental figure, and, Tom really sees Sonic as his son, and all of them too. Like, I feel like Tails is really like the little brother, and Knuckles is like the older brother that bumps heads with everyone, like they're kind of like a really great family, and I really love that aspect of it. But all of that, you know, they're having a great time as like a family. We had a really great heart-to-heart. And then, boom, helicopters just come in. And they literally end up telling Sonic and Tails and Knuckles, we need Team Sonic on a mission. We get a Team Sonic mission. And Knuckles is like, what do you mean this Team Sonic? I never agreed to that name. Knuckles, chill. This is not your movie. You had your own time. By the way, Paramount Plus, go and see Knuckles the show. You don't really need to watch Knuckles the show to watch Sonic 3, but I really do recommend the movie. Not the movie, the show. I do recommend the show very much a lot on Paramount Plus. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But basically, yeah, so we find out that, you know, Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails, they end up going to Japan, where Shadow was actually incarcerated, which was actually pretty cool to find. And Shadow, you know, he's looking around, and he sees that it says 2024. Again, he finds out that he's been frozen for 50 years, which is crazy. And again, the guy looks great. Obviously, I'm just kidding. So now we see that Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails and Shadow all four together on a big screen. It was just really cool to see all of them there. And the fight scene was really cool because Shadow means no business. He does not care about anything. It wasn't like where Knuckles, he had a reason to, you know, he had no reason to actually end up really doing what he needed to do. You know, Knuckles had somewhat of a purpose. Shadow doesn't. He does not. Shadow does not give a fuck. He will kill you. He will beat the shit out of you. If you get in his way, you're fucked. So basically, what we end up seeing is this really cool chase with him on a motorbike, and he does that really cool thing with the gun. Everyone went crazy because, obviously, Shadow needs a gun for some reason. I don't know. But, again, Shadow the Hedgehog video game, I get that reference right. So many game references in here. Like, I might just do a full video just about the game references in general. But this scene was just really, really great. And we find that, you know, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, they realize that they have to just recuperate and call in for help. So they go to this really cool, kind of like anime shop about the little characters from Sonic Adventure. And I was really excited to see that because I love Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and everything like that. So when I saw those first things, I was like, oh my god, those are from Sonic Adventure. I was like, awesome. I don't really know their names. I'll throw them up now. But yeah, and it was one of my favorite scenes in that entire movie is when the girl comes up to Tails and just goes, are you Detective Pikachu? And me and my friends, we just started dying in that movie, in that theater. I ended up actually seeing the movie opening night with my buddies, Jazz and Mark, who actually do the Nostalgia Pod with me. Would also, by the way, little side street, I have a podcast called The Nostalgia Pod. Me and my friends do it. If you guys really want to see all things nostalgic, video games, movies, different topics, whatever, go over to The Nostalgia Pod and hit that subscribe button. We're coming back very soon in January. We cannot wait to come back. We have a lot more things planned. Go get caught up on the episodes. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please, guys, I'd really appreciate the support over there. We'd love to see you guys over there. But anyway, back to the movie. That was one of my favorite scenes. And then we find out that they called none other than Dr. Olive Garden. Sergeant Olive Garden. I don't know his real name, but I call him Mr. Olive Garden because he's always talking about going to the Olive Garden. So he tells Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails what's basically the gist of it. And then the next thing you know, you see some similar looking eggs. And we definitely find that Robotnik is back, or someone is using his tech. So Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails end up leaving. You know, they actually sneak out in some of the costumes. It's actually pretty funny because Knuckles has no idea what the hell's going on. We find out that the agent that Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails were originally working with, yeah, she's not that good. She's not that good, supposedly. She basically is like, oh, kill everyone, whatever, right? So finally, we end up getting to finally go back to where they are actually trying to find and follow this weird person on the motorcycle that somewhat saved them, but also tried to kill them. We find out that it is Agent Stone. Agent Stone is back. So that means one thing, and we all see him in his gloriness and his chubbiness. Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman. And just like the other two, Jim Carrey deserves a standing ovation for this one. Definitely this one. He upped the ante with it. It was so fucking great seeing Jim back. And he, again, like he said, that he usually is now retired, but for the right film and the right script, he will come back. But also, again, like he said, he bought a lot of stuff. He needs the money. Oh my God, his performance in this film was just so good, so good. I give my hat off to him. And it's crazy because, like, he's now going crazy. He let himself go. He has nothing to live for. And then he just sees Sonic in there and he's like, he literally, like, he becomes scared. And now he's like, someone's using my tech, but it's not me. So now they find out where the tech is coming from, and it is in that old building where Shadow and Maria grew up, I guess. So now so the funny thing is, now Sonic has to team up with Eggman and Robotnik, and he's just like, let's get this straight. I don't like you, you don't like me, let's get this over with. So it goes that Sonic and Robotnik split off, Knuckles goes off by himself, and Tails and Agent Stone go together. And it's okay, and this is where the comedy of this movie comes in, right? So Knuckles is talking about how he's not scared as they walk into this building. He's not scared of anything, right? Then Sonic just goes, don't you remember last movie night? And Knuckles is terrified, completely terrified of Casper the Friendly Ghost. That is one of my favorite parts of this entire movie. I mean, this entire movie is like, oh my God. This has so many comedic parts, but this one really set me back because I just started dying in the theater. And me and my friends were too, because we're just like, how are you scared of Casper? Of all ghosts? Not scared of Ghostface, Patrick Swayze, the Nun. Of all like these other like ghostly like horror guys, you're scared of fucking Casper? And he just goes, there's no such thing as a friendly ghost. So that was actually pretty funny, but then we find out who is actually using Robotnik's tech. It is none other than Robotnik's grandpa. And again, Jim fucking Carrey. Did a fucking fantastic job playing not just Eggman, but Eggman's grandpa. And oh my God, and they actually do break the scene as they're doing this and that, and they're like, it's perfect. As if we're being played by the same actor in a movie. And he was able to break the fourth wall, and I just remember that getting a really big, funny reaction out of everyone in the theater. So that was just really cool to see, and we find out that Shadow is actually working with Robotnik's grandpa. And Grandpa brings Robotnik on his side. I'm just going to call him Grandpa from now on instead of saying Robotnik's grandpa. It's a little easier. So Grandpa brings Robotnik on his side, and Shadow literally ends up creating a black hole. Not just a small black hole. No, any black hole is a black hole, right? So then Sonic does this really cool thing where he's like, Trick Shot! And he sends a ring all the way back to Green Hill Zone, and they end up going back. It's like, Tom, Maddie, we need your... Oh, Knuckles, can you move? Oh, excuse me. Tom, Maddie, we need your help. And again, another just little scene, but another great funny scene. And again, Tom and Maddie are just great in here. The Donut Lord and the Pretzel Lady, they're just really fucking phenomenal in this film. I love both their characters to death. As you can see that they have a lot of they just have like a lot of, love, for each other, but also for Sonic and them. So they end up realizing where they need to go, and they go all the way to England. And that Team Sonic is back. So we have Sonic being the ringleader of everything. Knuckles is basically there to just break anything if he needs to. And Tails is the brains behind the operation. Maddie and Tom are actually the people going in and sneaking into the building right away. Which was really cool to see. Usually in these two movies, I feel like they're just coming in towards the very end to do something. But I feel like they also had a bigger role in this film. Especially Maddie, because I feel like Maddie has not been able to have like many big roles, and now she's able to have a bigger role in this film. because I already know, like, the Donut Lord was already in the first one a lot. But yeah, so basically we go in and they go in as Maddie's sister and the guy from Criminal Minds. Great seeing them back and great seeing them as disguised. It was actually a really funny scene. But I really did enjoy that little thing of it, as we got to see Maddie act like her sister, even though it was obviously the actress and the actor coming in, but it was supposed to be that. And during this time, Tails, they're going in and they have to do a game drive. And one of my little favorite, like, little jokes, the other ones were a little, like, medium sized. My favorite little joke is when they get to, like, the big like, the breaker room, and they have to put Tails' hard drive into the full system to shut it down. It doesn't work originally, and Tom takes it out and blows in it like you do on, like, the old school Genesis, Game Boy, and NES cartridges. And he puts it back in, and he's like, that's how it was in the 90s. And I just was like, yes, we got a Genesis reference. So now they're doing that, but also they realized that there is a second thumb drive. Good old Robotnik and Grandpa do what only can be described as the greatest dance performance in the history of movie making. This scene was so funny, just seeing them get their groove on. Everyone in the theater was dancing in their seats, and me and my friend were all just kind of like dancing and like being really excited and stoked for this film. And this scene was like really funny. I couldn't stop cracking up. I was just like, I had like the biggest smile on my face throughout the entire movie, but with this film, like, the smile, we all came home to our cheeks hurting. But this movie was just fucking, again, like, that scene killed me. And then Shadow and Agent Stone are in there making some guac, or revenge guac. And, Stone's trying to talk about his relationship and friendship with Robotnik, but Robotnik doesn't see it like that. We had another kind of like that in the cave where Agent Stone's talking to Tails about, being a assistant to Sonic. And Tails like, I'm not the assistant. We're best friends, Sonic's the leader, I'm the brains, and Knuckles is the muscle. Isn't that how it is with you and Robotnik? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Don't lie to yourself, Stone. I feel, I guess this is like kind of a thing where, like, we also all were, like, we felt bad for Stone starting in the second one, but then we realized that this one, he's like, he just cares so much for Robotnik, as Robotnik's probably his only friend. And Robotnik doesn't see it the same way. Robotnik is just kind of glad he has some kind of a family member in this film. And, so you feel for Stone a little bit. But now after that, you get into, now you get like this really cool scene where, Sonic starts to rush in and he actually steals from the royal palace. He steals a crown and a scepter. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, that's hella illegal. And I'm just laughing with that scene. And then you see that, he's trying to make it in and he's not going to, but then Knuckles breaks in and Tails ends up sweeping him in, and it all works out good and they get there. And you have, again, now you're getting into like a really important scene now where they find a second, like, disk drive, I think it was, where what originally Olive Garden guy gave to Sonic. And now you're getting into this point where you're like, oh, shit's about to go down. And the funny thing is, the floor has different forces of gravity. If it's green, you're going to shoot really high. If it's low, you literally get sucked to the ground. So you get this really, really great scene where, Knuckles and Sonic and Tails are trying to get there. But then Robotniks, they both get pushed to the ground. One gets shot up. Knuckles gets shot up. But then at one point, the entire place starts coming down and collapsing. And Robotnik and Grandpa end up getting the other drive, and how they have two, which is not a good thing. And you see this really thinking, I was actually, this is when me and my friends were started to be get really scared, scared and concerned for the Donut Lord. So he's stuck to the floor and there's these sharp things coming down, and I'm just like this, and I'm just like, Cause I'm like, I don't want the Donut Lord to die. Like, no, he's the Donut Lord. But luckily he did survive this one, and he runs away, and he's able to get the other things as well. And then he comes face to face with Shadow, who takes him completely out. And it's not like he just knocked him down. No. He took him out hard. And Sonic comes in, he's like, all right, Tom, we're going to... Tom! And we don't know at this point if he's going to live or not, whatever. And this is where Sonic starts to become not Sonic. Sonic's revenge kicks in. He's already lost Longclaw. Now he's losing the Donut Lord now. So Tom and Maddie are swapped off into swept off to the hospital, and Sonic is fucking pissed now. He is full-blown wanting to kill someone. He wants to get revenge on Shadow. He wants to end Shadow, basically. So what happens is he starts asking for the Chaos Emerald. If you guys don't remember in the second one, Supersonic happens with the Chaos Emerald. Also, if you played the games, you know what happens. Knuckles states he will never tell you where it is. Knuckles is the protector of it. He swore to Sonic and Tails he would never say to him. Knuckles, again, is very much pushing. He's like, you do not need it. It's anger. And if you're talking to someone who was literally doing revenge, and anger, he became good, talk to Knuckles. He literally did that in a second film. And Sonic's just like, he took my family. He took the only thing that meant anything to me. And Tails and Knuckles are really trying to talk him out of it, but they can't. Sonic's already made up his mind, so Knuckles tells him where he goes, but you're gonna have to go through a trusted warrior. None other than good old Wade. Good old Wade is back, and it was so good seeing him again. Again, if you guys have not seen the Knuckles show on Paramount Plus, I highly recommend watching that if you're a fan of the Sonic movies. Again, it's not like a necessary thing to watch to understand the premises of the movies, but it is a little good watcher between the second and third film. It's still canon to somewhat in the Sonic movies, but again, it's not like you're gonna miss a gigantic part of it if you haven't seen it. So Sonic goes to Wade, who's playing hockey with the Chaos Emerald, very, very nice. And boom, he launches up into space, goes full-blown supersonic, and takes out Shadow. And this is where this movie goes from great to fucking incredible. We get Super Shadow. Yes, Super Shadow. And he looks fucking amazing, bro. Like, this was like... And then you're seeing him and Sonic go at it. And you're just seeing all of this happen. But then, Sonic gets... So Sonic then destroys Shadow. Literally not destroys him, but he wins the fight overall. And I just remember that scene and we're just like, yeah! Just because we got to see, finally, not just Sonic and Shadow fighting on the big screen, but the Super Sonic and Super Shadow lore coming fully great. So then Sonic pulls away his punches. And he realizes that what he's doing is wrong. This is my critique on the film. It should have been Shadow to be the one that realized that he was doing the wrongdoing and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. He actually did, because he realized what was going to happen. He didn't want, the world to be destroyed. Which the other two Eggmans did. At this point, they're already in space getting ready to destroy the world and everything. So you don't really want that. And that's not something that Shadow wanted. So he had already had his, redemption arc for the most part. But now you just have Sonic out of character going back into character. So they finally both agree to team up. And this is when the theater started going nuts. We were all cheering and happy, all clapping and everything. We got this awesome, amazing photo. Oh my god, Sonic and Shadow fighting as Super Sonic and Super Shadow was just fucking incredible. And then after all of this, you cut to Robotnik getting spanked by Grandpa, and that was so funny, because Rocket's like, oh, I don't want this either. We're supposed to not create one world, we're supposed to rule the world. And Grandpa's like, nah, bro, we gotta kill everyone. And Robotnik's like, but we're family. And Grandpa says the coldest shit I've ever heard. I liked Maria better. Yup. Well, you don't have a family, Robotnik. But anyway, Sonic and Super Shadow, they end up, shooting off, trying to, stop this giant thing, the giant Robotnik machine from splitting the Earth literally into two and splitting the moon and everything and literally ending the world. And Sonic ends up, during that time as well, going back to Tails and Knuckles with the ring. Shadow ends up making sure he gets, sent home. And one of the best scenes happens, too, is when Knuckles and Tails come in as Grandpa's literally talking about not doing any of this. And then a cool fight breaks in to literally Grandpa being flown and getting disintegrated into power. But now it's up to Robotnik, Knuckles, and Tails to help stop this, as Shadow's just trying to, literally using the energy to just stop the giant machine, trying to help as well. And this is where Robotnik makes his final speech as he sacrificed himself. And at this point, it's still undecided if we'll ever see him again. Because at this point, I don't think you can survive dying in space, dude. I don't think you can. So then the movie ends, and they saved everyone. Sonic, Shadow, and Tails are, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails are all okay. And Shadow, we don't know. We don't know yet. And then we finally cut to back on Earth celebrating as a family. And the Donut Lord is okay. So at this point, then we see Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Again, bro. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails finally back, and they decide to continue the race. And then the credits roll. Jelly Roll comes in and plays a pretty good song, and the movie ends. Or so you thought. Because you had to stay till the very end. If you didn't, that's on you. Because you find out Sonic ran all the way from Montana to New York. And we see, as he's looking around, we got Metal Sonic! Metal Sonic! And we were all going crazy. We were all excited. We got Metal fucking Sonic. So we got to see him, and and there's a bunch of them, not just one. There's a bunch of them going around, and Sonic's about to full-blown have to kill all of these metal versions of him, but then he starts getting surrounded. He's like, uh-oh. And then we see a hammer go by with pink coloring. That's right. Amy is in Sonic 4. She's coming to Sonic 4. Oh my fucking God. I was right. I started saying that. My main theory is that if we did not see Amy show up at all in Sonic 3, she would be at the end to announce Sonic fucking 4. I cannot wait for this, because now how are the Metal Sonics there? Does that mean we're getting the Chroma? There are so many possibilities for Sonic 4 now. I cannot wait for it. Luckily, we did end up getting a March of 2027 release date. Basically 2 years. Just gotta wait 2 years, and we'll all get to see Sonic 4. This movie literally broke me in so many ways. It's like I said, It's my favorite movie now. This is going to be my entire personality for the rest of 2025. This movie really did a fucking fantastic job. But then, if you stayed till the very, very end, you will see Shadow is alive. But that means a couple of things. If you guys don't know, Paramount did state that they wanted to do a Shadow spinoff. If they either said it would be a series or its own movie to basically go between Sonic 3 and Sonic 4, you would have this Shadow movie. I think it's now going to be a movie because of just how fucking amazing this movie has been, you know, succeeding. I would love to see a Shadow movie, but even if they do a miniseries like they did with Knuckles, that would be really great. But then that also brings question. We already have Team Sonic, right? Does that mean we'll get Team Shadow? We'll just have to wait and find out, guys. But anyway, that was my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I cannot wait until we get more information about the Shadow Show and Sonic 4. Again, I know we have to wait a while because obviously Sonic 3 is still, you know, #1 in theaters and still performing well. I cannot wait to, I would love to see this movie again in theaters, but if I wait for, you know, the home release, completely fine. I'll probably watch that movie 17 fucking million more times. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, because in my opinion, you always need topics in my life. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and if you guys keep liking my movie reviews, I'm going to keep doing them. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until I see you guys again, peace to the O, to the U, to the T. Peace out, guys.